welcome to Hello English revision session. This session is all designed for you to learn more about English. English is not our native language, and that makes us care it a lot. This has been proven into many sessions that we have taken. Hello English helps you to learn English in a better way, in a creative way, making learning less monotonous. Let us look at what are we learning today at Hello English. Today's session tells you about tenses. What are tenses? Tenses are equivalent to tension for many people. Why is it so? Because we do not understand what exactly is tenses. And that is what gives us stress, and that is what makes it a very difficult topic, whereas it is not. It is just like any other language that we speak. What are tenses? Tenses are, the word tense applies to verbs. Now, in a sentence, what is important is a subject and a verb. Now, out of subject and the verb becomes important because it is something that changes the meaning of the sentence. Now, Tom plays football. I don't know when. Tom is playing football. I can say, yes, he is playing football now. Tom will play football. I know that he will play football in some time or the other. Now, this is what is the role of tenses in our day-to-day speech. What exactly do they do? What are they? Let us delve deeper into it and learn what are tenses. Tenses are three: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Looking at present tense, it is again categorized into four aspects: simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. Similar goes with the past as well as the future tense. Let us go deeper into what is present tense. What do you understand by present tense? Present tense is nothing but it helps us to define few aspects of our day-to-day conversation. What are they? Let us see. Repeated actions. What do you mean by repeated actions? I play tennis. Now that is a part of my routine. How do I play? What do I play? I play tennis. I play tennis always. I play tennis every day. But that doesn't mean that I cannot speak this sentence at night. At night, I'm not playing tennis, but still I can say I play tennis because I'm a tennis player. Again, when we talk about facts or generalizations, California is in America is a fact. That means what? It is not dependent on some tense. So let us move ahead. Scheduled events in the near future. So when we talk about some events that are to be done in the near future, we use simple present tense. Look at the sentence. The train leaves tonight. So when does the train leave? The train leaves tonight. We are not using will here. Whereas this sentence is very well spoken in the afternoon or probably in the morning. But still we are not putting will because will gives a probability, a possibility to the sentence, whereas this is a fixed action. So the fixed actions take up simple present tense, and that is how the sentence is formed. Train leaves tonight. Next aspect is universal truth. So when I say sun rises in the east, I am not talking about something else, but I am talking about what does sun do every day. Sun rises in the east, not in the west. I cannot say sun will rise tomorrow. Yes, it is a fact. It is a universal truth that it rises in the morning. It rises in the east. And when we are talking about such sentences, such aspects of life, we have to use simple present tense. Again, moving down to the next aspect, that is scientific facts. Scientific facts as in water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, or chromium is reactive, or nickel is black in color, or whatever. So when we are talking about such things which are scientifically proven, scientific facts, we cannot say will be or was, or we cannot add ing to it. Water is boiling, I can say only when I am looking at it. Now, when we talk about senses, we hear with our ears. So these are our senses, and we smell with our nose and we see with our eyes. So this won't change. Even if I'm blind, I can say this sentence that we see with our eyes. So when we are talking about such aspects, please remember to use simple present tense. Now, while talking, we cannot remember whether we are talking into simple present tense, or we are talking into present continuous tense, or we are talking into past tense. So to avoid confusions or to avoid such discrepancies, we have to learn them and try using them every day. Now, generally, simple present tense takes up a formula wherein subject plus verb plus s. So how does it form? Now, subject as in Tom, because he is the hero of the sentence. The sentence talks about Tom. So Tom plays. Now, play is a verb. I'm adding s because Tom needs that. Tom is singular, so verb should be singular. So I have to add s to the verb and say Tom plays football. The group plays football. We play football. So there is a difference. Now, moving down to the next sentence, next aspect of simple present tense is present perfect tense. Now, what is present perfect tense? Present perfect tense is a tense that tells you about some unspecified actions that are taking place. Now, I have seen that movie 20 times. When can I say that? I cannot say that when I am watching the movie. I have to make sure that this is an action which is perfectly done sometime before but has a reference with it now. That is where I use present perfect tense. So I have seen that movie 20 times. I have visited London. Now, these all things can be said using present perfect tense. I cannot use any other tense in this manner. When I'm talking about experiences, I have been to France. So when can I say that? I can say this only when I have visited it. Again, when I'm talking about change over the time, my English has really improved since I moved to Australia. So when can I say this? This can only be done or this can only be said when I have experienced it. The action is already finished, but I am still having its effects with me. Accomplishments. Now, when I talk about accomplishments, doctor cured some diseases, right? So when can I say that? When some action is already done. And that is where I use present perfect tense. I also use present perfect tense to talk about uncompleted actions you are expecting. James has not finished his homework yet. So what is the condition? The condition is that James has not finished his action. Multiple actions at different times. So when I'm talking about multiple actions, I use present perfect tense. Time expressions used in the last week, in the last year, this week, this month, so far. So these are the words that I use when I talk about some actions that finished in the past but have some reference with the present tense. Moving down to the next tense, present continuous tense, things happening now. So when I talk about some things that are happening right now in front of my eye while I am talking, so those actions are considered as present continuous, are considered into present continuous tense. You are learning English now. What are we doing now, right now? At this point of time, I am learning English. That means this is present continuous tense. Longer actions in progress. I am studying to become a doctor. Now, herein the action is studying. So I'm not doing something else, but I am studying to become a doctor. So right now I am in the process of becoming a doctor. So I'm studying. Near future, I'm not going to the party tonight. So when I talk about some things that are yet to happen, but it's a pre-planned event, I can also use present continuous tense. So maybe I am using this sentence right in the afternoon, but still I am saying I am not going to the party tonight. It's a pre-planned event. Now I can also talk about I don't like them because they are always complaining. So when we are talking about our irritations or repetitions, so we also talk in present continuous tense. Generally, when at Bajaj Finance, maybe in any company for that reason, there are people who are creating issues always, or they are there to raise the issues always rather than solving the issues. So then you can always say, I don't like them because they are always complaining. Now the structure is am is are plus verb plus ing. Now present perfect continuous tense. Now, when I talk about present perfect continuous tense, I generally talk about the durations from the past till now. What does this mean? I have been waiting here for over 2 hours. So my waiting procedure or my waiting process has not stopped yet. Recently or lately, Lisa has not been practicing her English, and that is why she is not speaking fluently, right? Any language needs a perfect practice, and that is when we learn a language. So when I'm talking about present perfect continuous tense, I'm talking about those actions somewhere in the past but are still going on right in the present also, and we do not know when these actions would end, but yes, they are sure to end in some near future. Moving down to the next tense, that is past tense. So what is past tense? How do we define past tense? Past tense talks about some actions that have already finished. So they do not have any reference right now, but the actions were already done in the past. Now, while talking about past tense, I'm also talking about a series of completed actions. Now, it's not just about one action that is completed, but there can be a series of 3 actions right in one behind the other or one after the other. He came from the airport at 8 o'clock. So now obviously it is not 8 o'clock. So he came from the airport at 8 o'clock, checked into the hotel at 9 o'clock and met others at 10 o'clock. So these are the 3 events that took place one after the other. Right now, I might be standing at 11 o'clock. So all the 3 actions for me are in the past, but still I am using he came from the airport, he checked into the airport, he checked into the hotel and met others at 10. So these are a series of events, but I'll be using past to narrate the stories or to tell about the actions that were completed. Now stating duration in the past. So again, when did these actions were performed? I am also using simple past to narrate that. For example, I lived in Brazil for 2 years. So now I don't live in Brazil. Maybe I am using this sentence after 3 years, but still I can say I lived in Brazil for 2 years. So now I no more live in Brazil. When I talk about habits in the past, I studied math when I was a child. So right now, obviously, I am not a child right now. So when I was a child, I studied maths. So again, it takes here will be along with some words like was. Interrupted action in the past. I was watching action that happened in the past, was happening in the past when some other action again interrupted it. He was tired because the action was continuous for a long time at 6 o'clock. So all the actions here are just under predictions and none of the action has yet started. Now, again in English, we talk about antonyms. So I hope my tenses are clear over here. For any queries, I am there to help you out. For any exercises that you would like to take up, you can go to Hello English app. There are n number of exercises. There are n number of explanations given for all the tenses. And it is also available in a lot of languages also. So you can choose whatever language you want and learn tenses. Now, let us shift over to the next topic, that is what are antonyms? Now, antonyms is a word that has the opposite meaning of other. If I say tall, the opposite should be short. But if I say handsome and beautiful, they can be synonyms. Though handsome is used for a man and beautiful is used for a female, still they are similar meaning words, whereas a man and a woman are antonyms of each other. That means they are opposite to each other. Bad is an antonym of good. Forward is an antonym of hero. So forward is someone who is scared of so many things, and hero is someone who is not scared of anything. Dead, alive. Am I alive or dead? I am alive, right? So person who is talking, person who is growing is alive, whereas others are dead. Doctor and a patient. Doctor treats, whereas patient goes to be treated. Husband, wife, man, woman. Similarly, we have a long list of antonyms which you can find all over in this app, even on the net, everywhere. And these words are beautiful when they are used. Thank you for your patient listening. Do let me know other topics that you would like to take up with me. Have a nice day ahead. Now, past continuous tense talks about some actions that started in the past and were continuously going on in the past. Now, these actions have no reference to the present. Whatever we are doing in the present is present continuous tense. Something that we do as our habit is simple present tense, whereas past continuous tense is some action that started in the past and was continuing. So now when I'm talking about interrupted actions in the past, I was watching TV when she called. So these are two actions. Look at the specificity of the tense. So the calling of the action that was calling of the phone is stopped, is finished. So when I say, when we are talking about some actions like I was watching TV when she called. So supposedly maybe it was yesterday 8 o'clock. So when some person called me, I was watching TV. When I'm talking about specific time is as an interruption, like yesterday at 12, I was sitting at my desk at work. So if somebody asked me, what were you doing at 12? I would say I was sitting at my desk. I'm not being specific about was I working, was I not working, was I watching something, was I eating something, but I was at my desk and sitting. Now, parallel actions, when we are talking about two actions, like if somebody is calling and also taking notes, you can say, I was talking to Mr. X while I was taking notes also. So two actions taking place at the same time. I was studying while he was making dinner. So this is nothing but past continuous tense. Let us move ahead into this particular area wherein we are talking about atmosphere. Now, what kind of an atmosphere are we talking about? Like when I walked into the office. So me moving into the office is one action, and people doing something, like people would not be sitting there just waiting for me. Even if they are waiting, it's a past continuous tense. So when I walked into the office, several people were busy typing. So I could hear that voice, and so I am concluding that when I walked into the office, several people were typing. They were not eating, they were not dancing, they were not sleeping. So they were busy typing. Now again, we are using always also over here. Now what is this always? She was always coming late to the class. So now herein we see there is some kind of a different statement. In past continuous tense, we talk about the actions that are taking place in some form or the other in the past. Let us move to past perfect tense. Now, what is past perfect tense? Past perfect tense talk about some actions before that took place before in the past. Now, here and look at the sentence. We were not able to get a hotel room because we had not booked it in advance. So generally when we go for vacations, or now it is Diwali time, so many of you also must have booked up the tickets. Now I have used have, that is the action that took place in the past but has a reference. Now I have booked my tickets for my vacations. Have you? So now my booking is done. The action of booking is already done, but the reference is with the present. So I use have. But herein in this condition, when I'm using past perfect tense, both the actions have finished. We were not able to get a hotel room, so probably I had cancelled my vacation or I had cancelled my leave. So we were not able to get a hotel room because we had not booked it in advance. So the booking procedure was closed quite a long time in the past. Duration before something in the past. Now, what are we talking here? We had that car for 10 years before it broke down. So when I sold off that car, so the actions, there are so many actions involved here. All of them happened somewhere in the past. So we had that car for 10 years. So I owning that car was a longer period, which has also finished. I have also sold the car now. So now these actions, two actions that took place all in the past, are under the heading of past perfect tense. They felt bad about selling the house because they had owned it for more than 40 years. Now here also two actions took place. Feeling sad also finished. Selling the flat also finished. Now I am talking about today. Maybe I'm planning to buy a new house now. So again, future planning using ing. Okay. So past perfect tense. Yes, it is a bit confusing because we are talking about two actions, both of them that took place in the past, and generally people get confused where to use have, where to use had. So always remember, when we are talking about our experiences, we should use have. whereas some action that took place in the past takes up past. Now the question arises, what is the difference between simple past and past perfect tense? Or why do we need to use past perfect tense here? Simple past talks about some action which is finished and has no reference with the present tense. Whereas when we talk about past perfect tense, it has some reference with the present. So maybe my vacation, somebody is asking me, why have you cancelled your vacations? Or why have you cancelled your leave? Or why have you come to the office today? So we were not able to get tickets, and so we couldn't book the tickets, and since we did not book it in advance. So this is what happened in the past. All the actions are in the past. If somebody asks you, why didn't you go for vacation? My leave is cancelled. My leave was cancelled. So that is simple past. Here I'm talking about some action that happened in the past, has no or very less reference with the present. But when I have to specifically talk about the reference with the present time, I will use past perfect. Present perfect tense with the reference in the present, whereas two actions that already took place in the past but is reflecting into my action, my today's action, I will use past perfect tense. Duration before something, we had this car 10 years before it broke down. So the car broke down also in the past. We sold that car also in the past. So two actions, both of them happened all in the past. Let us look at past perfect continuous tense. Now, what is past perfect continuous tense? This is the duration before something in the past. They had been talking for over an hour before Tony arrived. So now arrival of Tony is one action. They had been talking on phone, another action. So two actions, both of them taking place in the past. One is continuously happening, whereas one action is finished. Now this generally happens when, like in the present perfect continuous tense, we even saw two actions, but the reference was different. Herein we are talking about again two actions. One is in the continuous tense, whereas one is perfectly done. So they had been talking for over 1 hour before Tony arrived. So Tony does not know what did they talk about in that hour, but when Tony arrived, they were still talking on phone. But now when I'm telling you this story, both of the actions have already taken place, and that is where I use past perfect continuous tense. Cause of something in the past. Tim was tired because he was jogging. So what is the reason of Tim getting tired? Because he was jogging. So two actions. One, he got tired, and another, why he was jogging. So there is no perfect way to put up ing first or ing second. You can put up wherever you want, but generally we have two actions that take place here in past perfect tense. One that is perfectly finished, and another that was going on somewhere in the past. Again, past continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense have just one difference. He was tired because he was exercising so hard. That is past continuous tense. He was tired because he had been exercising so hard. So we show the continuity of the action here in past perfect tense. That is the difference between past continuous and past perfect continuous tense. A bit confusing, but then not very difficult to understand. Now, there is another confusion, when to use while and when to use when. Now, I was studying when she called. So there was some action that was happening which was interrupted by some call. So I was studying when she called, or I was taking lunch when she called. While I was studying, she called. So very hairline difference, but we use this in two references. One is I was studying when she called. So my studying action is more important. While I was studying, she called. So again, the continuity of the action is interrupted, but with the reference of while. Now, talking about future tense. Future tense is very easy as compared to past tense and present tense, because future tense generally we use well with future tense. So let us discuss what is simple future tense. Simple future tense is used to predict some future event. She will come for the party, or she will join us, or she will bring lunch box, or she will do something. That is the future tense generally used by we Indian speakers. We also use future continuous tense, but on a very lower note to indicate something that will occur in future. So she will sing a song tomorrow. Generally, we curtail it by saying she will sing a song tomorrow. Right? Herein, she will be singing a song tomorrow is future continuous tense. When we talk about future perfect continuous tense, it indicates something that will have to take place. So I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. Now, moving, I hope you have understood what are tenses: present tense, past tense, and future tense. We have so many other lessons that are related to present tense, past tense, and future tense with a lot of exercises that are there on Hello English. You may go refer those pages and make yourself clear. For other queries, I am there. You just have to type down a message, ask me, and I'm there to answer you. What are antonyms? You must have heard this word antonym. Antonym means something that is opposite. Synonym is something that means the same, like good, best. So they are synonyms of each other, whereas bad, worst are bad and good are antonyms of each other. Bad is an antonym of good. Coward is an antonym of hero. So when we talk about hero, we talk about somebody who is very brave, and somebody who is afraid or who does not have much of guts to do something is a coward. Another examples of antonyms are dead, alive, doctor, patient, husband, wife, man, woman. These are all examples of antonyms which we generally use in our day-to-day conversations. So I suppose antonyms also is clear to you, and if there are any queries, I am there. Hello and welcome to Hello English revision session. This session is all designed for you to learn more about English. English is not our native language, and that makes us care it a lot. This has been proven into many sessions that we have taken. Hello English helps you to learn English in a better way, in a creative way, making learning less monotonous. Let us look at what are we learning today at Hello English. Today's session tells you about tenses. What are tenses? Tenses are equivalent to tension for many people. Why is it so? Because we do not understand what exactly is tenses. And that is what gives us stress, and that is what makes it a very difficult topic, whereas it is not. It is just like any other language that we speak. What are tenses? Tenses are, the word tense applies to verbs. Now, in a sentence, what is important is a subject and a verb. Now, out of subject and the verb becomes important because it is something that changes the meaning of the sentence. Now, Tom plays football. I don't know when. Tom is playing football. I can say, yes, he is playing football now. Tom will play football. I know that he will play football in some time or the other. Now, this is what is the role of tenses in our day-to-day speech. What exactly do they do? What are they? Let us delve deeper into it and learn what are tenses. Tenses are three: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Looking at present tense, it is again categorized into four aspects: simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. Similar goes with the past as well as the future tense. Let us go deeper into what is present tense. What do you understand by present tense? Present tense is nothing but it helps us to define few aspects of our day-to-day conversation. What are they? Let us see. Repeated actions. What do you mean by repeated actions? I play tennis. Now that is a part of my routine. How do I play? What do I play? I play tennis. I play tennis always. I play tennis every day. But that doesn't mean that I cannot speak this sentence at night. At night, I'm not playing tennis, but still I can say I play tennis because I'm a tennis player. Again, when we talk about facts or generalizations, California is in America is a fact. That means what? It is not dependent on some tense. So let us move ahead Scheduled events in the near future. So when we talk about some events that are to be done in the near future, we use simple present tense. Look at the sentence. The train leaves tonight. So when does the train leave? The train leaves tonight. We are not using will here. Whereas this sentence is very well spoken in the afternoon or probably in the morning. But still we are not putting will, because will gives a probability, a possibility to the sentence, whereas this is a fixed action. So the fixed actions take up simple present tense, and that is how the sentence is formed. Train leaves tonight. Next aspect is universal truth. So when I say sun rises in the east, I am not talking about something else, but I am talking about what does sun do.